Is cash king in 2023? What do I mean by that? Is it important to have cash in your bank account, cash in hand? Is it more important to have cash with you versus have your money tied up into an asset, invested somewhere? Going into the potential recession that we're seeing in 2023, in today's video, I'm going to discuss all the factors that come into making the decision on whether or not it's important to have cash on hand and cash, like strong cash in your bank account versus having it tied in either an investment vehicle, an asset, a depreciating asset, an appreciating asset, whatever it's going to be. And the short answer is, I think like my statement generally is here, cash is king in 2023, but let me prove that to you in this video, or at least give you the reasoning why I believe that is true. If you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to learn more about entrepreneurship, personal finance, becoming wealthier, or the journey of becoming wealthier, please consider subscribing. It's free to do. And if you enjoy the video and enjoy the content or learn something, please consider giving the video a like. It really helps the channel. And I'd love to talk to you guys in the comment section below. But let's get into the video. So you might ask yourself, why is this even important? Well, we've seen social proof in the last, and not just social proof, we've seen analytical hard value proof that having cash, at least in the last 12 months, was better than investing. If you had all your money in cash and not invested in the stock market, you'd be a lot richer today. Easier said than done. It's easy to say that after that all happening. Most people would tell you, especially just like looking at the history of the market, that isn't the case. You can never predict the market, so it's an impossible situation to predict. But there is one extenuating factor that we're not predicting the market here. Because the market is going down, we know that we are going to find discounted assets. So when I say, is cash king? Yes, it's king because it'll protect you. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, if you are in debt, if you have debts, if you're worried about your job, and if you don't have a big amount of savings that's insulating you for finding another job, if you can't weather the storm, if you get laid off from your job, cash is king because you need to have that just to survive. That's a fact. If that is as far as you get on this video, watch the rest of the video because you'll learn something. But if you're in the realm where you don't have a savings, if you don't have an emergency fund that is going to get you through this recession, if you do lose your job or have something that affects your ability to work, I would start doing that or leave it at that. Don't invest your money. And if you do invest your money, make sure it's something that you're investing in that either won't lose all that money, right? We're thinking something safer, as safe as can be right now, or something that you can liquidate quickly and get that money out when you need it, right? But if you invest it, you need to understand you might lose some of it, right? The market will go up, we just don't know when. It could take a couple years, honestly. So just because you have $20,000 in your emergency fund and you're hearing everybody like the S&P returns 10% per year on average, that's true over the full average of the stock market. We don't know when it's going to start going back up, and it might still go back down 20%. It could happen. So just understand, if you have $20,000 and it goes down another $4,000 because you've put it in the S&P 500, an ETF tracking the S&P 500, that's just a reality. So if you're in that situation, cash is king. But the other situation you could be in is if you have some money, or you have money invested, or you sold your investments and you have the cash, is it better just to hold the cash through 2023? My personal plan is to hold as much cash as I can because I want to leverage that cash and get a discounted asset. Now, I've made another video on this, and it's just how to get rich in a recession. But I want to talk about just like how important that cash is just on what you're deploying. Now, you might lose money if you're trying to time the market. If your goal is to then just reinvest in the stock market, I would say probably start doing that over time, right? Like, the worst thing that can happen is we can start rebounding and you've missed your opportunity and haven't timed the market. It's just as easy to say you're going to put it in, you're going to lose some money going in. It's just, you can't time the stock market. So if your goal is just to constantly drip into the stock market and you did pull your cash out and you were smart enough to do that, or you've been pulling your cash out, I would say drip back in. But this isn't financial advice. That's just what I would be doing. But if you want to leverage your money into a different investment vehicle, so for me, that's real estate, because again, when you look at the two things, you could put $100,000 in the stock market, which will return you, like if you're doing dividends, 4%, but let's say it gives you 10% year over year. If you pick the right real estate market, even if it's not a fixer upper or a flip where you can get some money out of that deal that isn't part of the investment vehicle, 100 grand, which could get you in stocks, could get you, that if you borrowed correctly, that could buy you an investment property that is $500,000, and before you get any pay down or anything that's like, getting rent from a tenant or anything like that, you're then going to get like, 2 to 5% a year on 500K versus 10% on 100K. And if you do the math there, you're getting more return on the other one. On top of, if you have some, if you have a business or expenses, you can have write-offs against your investment property. Then you have a tenant that it's paying down some of the mortgage on the property. It's increasing the dollars that you have invested in the property, and it's growing the asset that way on top of just appreciation. The tricky part about that is it costs more to get into real estate, and you have to tie your money up for a long period of time. But the way that I look at what's happening in 2023 is we're going to have some uncertainty, and there are going to start being deals. For the last 4 or 5 years, there really haven't been deals on the market, and unfortunately, that's been when I've had the buying power. Right? I'm still in my 20s. I wasn't buying real estate 10 years ago when that happened. So this is the first time that is a reality. And if you're not in real estate and you're not yet there, this might be the opportunity for you to do that. But the real thing here is that you need to make sure you protect that cash. And for me, I'm not investing as aggressively as I was before because, losing 20% of that down payment does really affect my buying power. So I'm willing to take the loss of, a couple $100, whatever 2% is on that over the, if it grows over the next month or two, if it grows, I'm willing to take the risk there just to not lose it and not like de-inflate so that I can just have the most, and just so I can have the most buying power for real estate. So those are the two kind of core pillars of why cash could be king. Now, again, I've just described the median person, and I've just described somebody that's ready to take the next step or take something that's a little bit more involved, because real estate is more involved. I was in the building engineering as a mechanical engineer space for a big portion of my career, so I like to make money that way anyways. But if you're in between those two things, having cash in hand, you're not going to lose money from the stock market. You're also not going to gain it. You're going to lose it from inflation. But what you can do, and I'm not promoting a product here, I'm not sponsored anything, but you can put it into a high yield savings account. Again, you'll be able to withdraw money from that immediately, but high yield savings account are giving, you can get 3.8%, 4%. If you put it in Robinhood, you have to pay for the premium thing. I think it's 4%, but like my Wealthfront cash savings account, which is just a checking account, is getting 3.8% right now, which is the same as a really good dividend without any risk because it's FDIC insured and it's a savings account. That might be the best thing that you can do right now. So it's not financial advice, something to think about. And that's just my general opinion on whether cash is king in 2023. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next video.